U.S. military? Who f***ing who? I hope you get PTSD.
This left-wing streamer is one of the most unhinged people on the internet, and she's finally getting the downfall she so very richly deserves. So unless you're a Twitch viewer, which is a super popular streaming service that started out as people playing video games, but has kind of morphed into a live streaming platform that hosts massively popular political commentators and is super popular with young audiences. One of the most famous people on Twitch is Hassan Piker, the far-left socialist influencer. But anyway, unless you're on Twitch and you're a viewer, you've probably never heard of Frogan before. I know I hadn't. But I've come to learn that she's one of the most unhinged streamers on the internet. And now she's gone so insane that she's finally gotten herself banned from Twitch. What did Frogan do that was finally too far for even the left-wing people who run Twitch? Well, it's not actually one thing or a simple answer to that question. It's a series of events and controversies that we're going to go through today before I give you my kind of nuanced take on it, because I have somewhat mixed feelings on her punishment. But anyway, here is the first clip that recently went viral of Frogan saying she wishes PTSD on U.S. military veterans. Yes, seriously.
I have no pity at all for any soldiers. Distress, thank you so much. I will never have any pity for any soldiers. U.S. military? Boo fucking who? I hope you get PTSD. The ones I'm like whatever about the U.S. soldiers are the ones that like acknowledge that like what they did was wrong. They didn't know back then. Whatever. You're a good person in my book. I'm like a Tom. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted. The U.S. military that are like, yeah, like, you know, I did this back then, but now I know it's wrong. Like, I'm changed. Like, imperialism. This, you don't deserve the PTSD. But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them. You're like, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. Fuck you. I hope you get PTSD, and I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into America.
Oh, well, she seems lovely, doesn't she? I mean, I love how quickly the healthcare is a human right crowd throws that one out the fucking window as soon as it's a group of people they don't like. But also, I can't imagine wishing PTSD on someone. Like, there are lots of groups of people that I strongly disagree with and detest, but never have I ever thought to myself, yeah, I hope they have crippling PTSD that leads to disturbingly high rates of self-deletion and unaliving. What? That is a demonic thought process, babe. That's not normal. Seek help. And I have plenty of criticisms of the U.S. military and the things we've done abroad, whether it's in Iraq or Afghanistan, and some of the war crimes the U.S. military has committed and all of that. But first off, the vast, vast majority of U.S. soldiers have had nothing to do with that. And also, primarily the blame for those bad decisions lies on politicians and generals and decision makers, not low-level military personnel. Anyway, I don't want to go off on a whole tangent about this one crazy clip, but this is the first thing that went viral from Frogan that kind of got her on the radar of critics who started scrutinizing her and questioning not only why she was platformed on Twitch, but actually a Twitch partner. So they weren't just allowing her on the platform, but they were actively partnering with her and supporting her and featuring her at Twitch events. And just so you guys know that this really is who she is, and I didn't just show you one clip out of context, here's another clip of Frogan telling viewers that if they help her hit a certain fundraising goal, she will bake a cake version of the Twin Towers and do a live reenactment of 9/11 on stream.
Okay, 6250, 9/11 baking stream with Raph and Capri. If we get to this goal by 9/11, Capri, Raph, and I will make the Twin Towers out of a stacked cake, and we'll make an airplane, and we'll recreate 9/11.
You can't make this shit up. Where did they even come up with this? Now, it might not shock you to learn that Frogan has also been accused of anti-Semitism, including a really disturbing event that was at a Twitch official event where Frogan and some other personalities from online and from Twitch basically played a game where they ranked popular creators on a scale of good to bad. And at the top, good was Arab, and at the bottom, bad was likes Sabra Hummus, which is an Israeli hummus company that is targeted by anti-Israel activists. So a lot of people have interpreted that to mean Zionist or Jew or something to that effect. Here's a clip from the Jewish, although very liberal, content creator Ethan Klein, who is not even a huge Israel fan, but does believe it at least has a right to exist. He broke down this controversy involving Frogan and the other streamers and gave his take on it.
Let's take a look at it and see what exactly is Twitch endorsing here.
Okay.
It's the perfect transition to our first person, Hassan.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder where they're going to put Hassan. I'm going to guess they're going to put him in Arab.
Hassan is Turkish, but he's a brother.
Yeah.
You know? So...
Yeah, I think he'd be on Arab coded.
I mean, I would put him in Arab, to be honest.
I would put him also in Arab.
Which is great. That's the good one. That's the one you want.
Austin. Let's go down the line.
He's
Arab.
He's Arab.
Arab.
He's actually
Arab.
Lebanese. Like,
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Austin.
The next person is one of my favorite people, Ethan Klein.
I told you guys to clap.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one.
Oh, Jewish.
Dude, where's the? You guys are missing a category for Zionist. That was a joke. That was just a joke in my.
Stanums.
We're very proud of you, Denims, for bringing anti-Semitism right on stage, and you guys are killing it.
Now, amid all of this backlash and all of these controversies, Twitch has taken action against Frogan, suspending her for 30 days under their policy for hateful conduct. In her defense, Frogan is arguing that the tier list they did was a meme and was not supposed to mean Jew when they referred to hummus. She wrote on Twitter, "The whole basis of my podcast, Arabs with Capri and Raf, is that we are all Arabs from different religious backgrounds. I am Muslim, Capri is Christian, and Raf is Jewish. Sabra hummus is objectively the worst hummus to exist and is the unfortunate standard of hummus in the US. I'm not sure I'm buying that excuse personally, but I thought I would include it so you could hear both sides of this story. Now, I wanted to talk about this not because I particularly care about Twitch drama, but because I think there's a couple of key themes here that come into play with this controversy that I do have thoughts and including some mixed feelings on. For example, there is this question of free speech versus censorship. And as much as it pains me to say it, I think even though many of the things Frogan has said are detestable, my ideal would be a platform like Twitch allows people to speak almost as long as they're not saying anything illegal or committing crimes and lets people say crazy and hateful stuff. That is my preference as somebody who believes in an atmosphere of open debate and culture and speech and all of that. However, that is very much not what Twitch is. Twitch is a heavily censorious platform that censors people all the time and bans them permanently or suspends them for saying far less offensive things than what Frogan has said. So in that context, it is, I think, fair to say, well, at least Frogan should be held to the same standards. And if you're going to censor all these other people, you should also censor her, even though she's left-wing, even though she's a Muslim woman of color, or whatever the identity politics at play may be, you should have the same standards. And so she should be banned, especially because Twitch's policies include veterans as a class that you're not allowed to be hateful towards. And I don't know how anybody could watch that clip and say she didn't violate that policy. Like I said, I have mixed feelings about it because I really would prefer a platform that's open to all viewpoints, even the freaking craziest ones. But again, that's just not where Twitch is at. So hard for me to really defend her too much in light of that. What I will say, though, is the fact that Twitch partnered with her, made her a Twitch partner, which is a form of affiliation or sort of endorsement, and featured her at events shows how morally rotted and corroded and insane this company is. And as far as I can tell, she's still a Twitch partner, or at least will be after her ban is over. It's still in her bio on social media. So the fact that they haven't revoked that at the very least is actually crazy to me. And I have to point out the identity politics angle here. I think if Frogan were a white dude who said the same thing, she probably would have been censored long ago, dropping these kinds of crazy takes. But there is very much a reality when you're in these progressive online spaces and you check off different identity victim boxes, like a Muslim woman of color, you get away with more. Your identity is used as a shield. Even now, people are framing this as Twitch censoring Arab creators, like as if that's why, because of their race or ethnicity, when clearly it's because of what they've been saying and doing both on and off the platform. So I really can't stand that, the weaponization of identity politics to shield yourself from criticism or to avoid accountability for terrible behavior. More importantly, though, I was struck by this story because the kids are not all right. Like, something is wrong with Gen Z or with young people if somebody this obviously unhinged and just extreme and delusional with their political worldview can somehow gain an audience and be popular and make a career out of creating content online. Like, where is the demand for this? How radical, how crazy, how delulu, how many crack pipes do you have to have hit for this content to see this content be like, yeah, that's my girl. I'm going to tune in and financially support her. I can't understand the mindset of a person who would feel that way, but it bothers me to think that there's actually some thousands upon thousands of young people who tune in and support people like this. And of course, Frogan is a somewhat smaller creator, but then at the top of the Twitch empire is Hassan Piker, the left-wing socialist who has literally said America deserved 9/11, and he is so popular. Millions of people tune in to hear him, even though he pushes some of the most insane, ridiculous propaganda I've ever seen in my life. And so everything I'm concerned about Frogan and her having an audience is just times 1,000 when it comes to Hassan and the other left-wing voices that dominate this platform and this corner of the internet, which is part of why I'm doing what I'm doing and commenting and entering this space of internet debates and drama, because I desperately want there to be a sane, centrist or center-right alternative for young people to tune into and actually hear a perspective that makes sense, that supports freedom, that supports tolerance, that supports American values, that doesn't hate our country or want to see the downfall of the West, but is open to critiquing it and making our system fairer and better for everyone. Just the kind of common sense and nuance that is totally absent from many corners of the internet, most prominently Twitch and other streaming services. But what do you guys think of this woman, Frogan? Are you happy to see her banned off Twitch? Do you think her ban should actually be permanent? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I do read the comments and I take the time to respond to a few in every episode. So do make sure that you leave your comments below with your thoughts. And if you leave your comment with a super chat or a super thanks, I'll definitely respond to it on tomorrow's show.